Well, they're certainly not, because a new poll has found 71% of Brits believe Keir Starmer is handling migration badly. I should point out that includes 56% of his own Labor voters. Now, if the recent court decision in Epping, you just referred to it, that decision was that asylum seekers could not be housed in a hotel because it breached planning regulations. If that's repeated around the country, things are going to go from bad to dire for the government.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, it's already pretty bad. If you look at that poll, 7 out of 10 voters saying that the government is handling immigration badly. To be honest, I'm surprised it's that low. I mean, you'd struggle to find anyone who thinks that this government is making a good fist of anything, but not least the immigration issue, which is now the number one issue of concern in this country. The economy, despite the fact that it's still in pretty poor shape, is now a distant second. And yet we've got a government which is not just kind of flat-footed on this issue. It's kind of a prisoner of its own ideology. It's run by Keir Starmer, a human rights barrister, the Attorney General, Lord Hermer, a human rights barrister, people who are kind of constitutionally incapable of doing what is probably necessary to do about the European Court of Human Rights or the UN Refugee Convention, looking afresh at our international commitments to see if we can get a grip on the illegal migration issue. They're never going to go anywhere near that. So what with this ruling that we've seen in Epping, likely to be repeated across the country, you've even got Labour councils in places like Tamworth saying that they're going to look for their own injunctions to close their own migrant hotels. And you've got a government which is just frozen in the middle, terrified to act. So that's going to have to come back to bite them sooner rather than later, I would say.
Part of the protest against the illegal migration is what's come to be known as flagging. That's British citizens erecting Union Jacks all around their towns and cities. I want to ask you about an incident in the town of Stevenage where men putting up British flags were apparently attacked with a petrol bomb. Take a look.
Petrol bombed. Move the car, bro. Putting flags up, got petrol bombed. Just finished a night, 3 hours of flagging, and our boy has just been petrol bombed. Petrol bomb thrown at the car, smashed straight onto his head.
I have to ask, Tom, are we at a point in Britain where it's dangerous to hoist a British flag?
Well, hopefully not. I mean, hopefully this is an isolated incident. We've seen some kind of clashes between people who are taking it upon themselves to hoist up the Union flag or the Cross of St George, but nothing as violent as this. It was just after midnight, these gentlemen, part of this kind of campaign which has cropped up across the country, were hoisting up flags on lampposts, and it seems like from a neighbouring garden, someone threw a petrol bomb at them. So really, really concerning. And also because of the fact that this is in response to a campaign which, yes, is about putting things up on public property. There's a few local councils who aren't very happy about it. But to respond in this kind of way just speaks to how intense the kind of hatred is for the national flag and the national symbols it is amongst some people.
Yeah, it's quite shocking. Speaking of shopping, well, that too, shocking and shopping, the number of shoplifting cases, 800 a day in the UK. That's how many cases are going unsolved. And here's the bit that interests me. The police are being accused of passing the buck for solving these cases onto the public. Matthew Barber, he's the Police and Crime Commissioner for the Thames Valley, suggested on BBC Radio that shoppers should shout at thieves. That's the plan.
It's absolutely incredible. I mean, it seems like when all else fails, you pass the buck to the public. I mean, the scale of this, not only is the number of shoplifting reports going through the roof, it's also the number of them that are resulting in a charge. It's something like 16% nationally and as low as 6% in London, which certainly scans with any Londoner's experience at this point. So to turn around having this abject failure, basically presiding over the decriminalisation of shoplifting is what it feels like at this point. And then saying, well, maybe it's about time the public bucked up their ideas and stepped up to help with this. I mean, it's a complete insult, but it's what a lot of people have come to expect from the police, who almost more so than many other institutions in our country have lost the respect of the British people in an incredibly short space of time, which I think is something they've really got to take seriously.
Well, maybe the police don't want to catch thieves because, well, there's nowhere to put them. The number of spare spaces in men's jails across the UK fell below 1,000 this month, and the government's own Ministry of Justice is forecasting that inmates on short sentences might need to be set free. We've got about 40 seconds left, Tom. Just what are they going to do when they've got no more jail space and yet so much crime?
No, absolutely. I mean, they're talking about all these measures, essentially getting rid of sentences under a year, unless it's in extreme circumstances. The sort of offences that they'll probably go lighter on are things exactly like shoplifting, which is only going to make some of the problems worse. But again, this is failure of successive governments, but again, lumbered with a Labour government that can only really tinker. It can't take these issues seriously.
It's an absolute mess. And like you said, I don't think many people have got confidence in Keir Starmer that he can solve much of this. Tom Slater, thanks for joining me tonight.